Televue 76. I apologize. I was going to do it yesterday, but the lawnman came by and created a dust storm. I'm not bringing my telescope out when it's kicking up pollen left and right. So let me go get the telescope. Okay, here we are. I'm going to mount it. I take those bolts and I put them gently right in, center it. I don't like to scratch anything. Try to be as exact as possible. But for some reason I'm having a hard time today. So let me bring that up a second. And she's mounted. Now I'll lower that down. Have to brush off the telescope, and we'll go ahead and seat it. Okay, now see how that looks. Looks pretty good. Let's get a better view. There we go. And I'll bring it down just a little. All right. As I said before, this is a quick release bracket for the star beam. But I'm not going to use the star beam today. So let me get an eyepiece, and what I'll do is I'll loosen these screws, bring her up, and then tighten it back down. I should tighten this up. There's a Azimuth tensioner. There we go. Okay. This is an 18.2 millimeter Televue Delight. It's D-Light because it shows a really nice view, very crispy, and it's also lightweight. So, take that off, put it down here, remove the cap, immediately remove the cap, insert the eyepiece, tighten down the cap. How's that look? It's pretty good, huh? Now let's take the cover off. Two hands should bring it up like that. Two hands so I don't drop it. And then remove the cover. Okay. Now let's see how that looks. There we go. I imagine there's a way to get a wider angle with this phone, but I'm not sure yet. Okay. Anyhow, let's balance it. Now we know in daylight the focuser is going to be racked out a bit. Let me check, get the focusing done. Okay, let's see. Bring her in a little bit. It's focused. Enough to balance it. Loosen this up. Okay, she falls forward just a little bit. So I'm going to pull it back. Tighten it up just a touch. Don't ever over tighten those tension knobs. Just a touch of a finger. Loosen this up. Bring it back. Don't grab that. Don't grab the focuser knobs. Okay. It's a better, more stable view than my first try. Now, I'm gonna open this up and see. Lefty, bring that up. Can you see the notches there? This is a scale. It determines what is best for my eyesight. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this down until I see the entire field of view, which is right about there. Now I'm going to tighten it up by turning it clockwise, and she's locked in. Okay, maybe I should bring it up just a little bit more. There we go. Yes, it's a beautiful view. Okay. She's tightened down, hand tight. Don't need to do it any more than that. Everything's ready to go. Okay. As you can see, I wish I had a tape measure, but extend it to right here. Okay, so it actually is not a very small telescope. Pretty long when you extend the dew shield. This is a gross focuser, as I call it. Sneeze up just a little bit so it's easy to use, see? And this is a fine focuser. They call it a 10-to-1. This is a panhandle, which I bought extra. It didn't come with the mount. I like it. It's easy to use. It's easy. It gives me a more stable view, and I don't have to play around with the telescope. I don't have to touch it for any reason whatsoever. Now, the telescope itself is a f6.3, which means when the light enters the objective, which is right there, the light is going to move a distance of about 19 inches. So it's going to move down through here, through the tube. It's going to come to a point, and it'll hit this mirror diagonal, bounce up. It's about 19 inches travel. And that is a relatively short focal length. So Televue has built a doublet here. He designed a doublet, Del Nagler, and it's designed to not show any purple in your image. It's supposed to give you they say color free doesn't mean like it's black and white. It means that you're not seeing any extraneous color like purple fringing, especially in daylight, which is important. Also, by reducing the color fringing, you get a much better, clearer view of critical objects. Now that could be birds, it could be leaves, insects, whatever. Okay, and it works perfectly. It's just a marvelous little optical instrument. But it's also critical when using to root out subtle feature on the planet Jupiter, right? Or the moon, which is my favorite target. And I've got it mounted on this heavy-duty Gibraltar HD4. HD4 stands for It can accommodate up to a 4-inch telescope. I have the panoramic mount, which is much easier to lug around, and this works just fine on that too. The only thing I like about this over the panoramic is it gives me more height, so I don't have to bend down as much to locate objects that are higher towards the zenith. Okay, I have the other item that I like to use, and that is this baby. It's a chair. It's specifically designed for Televue viewing, and it is a air chair. If you pull this lever here, down here, the air chair will rise accordingly. So, depending upon your height, you would want to make an adjustment by pulling that lever, which is located right here. Okay. You have that comfortably arranged in the same position each night when I go out and observe. So yeah, it's a beauty. Just to give you a better view of the Televue 76. Let me show you the objective again. Turn it around, bring it up. Let's see, can you get it? Let's see, there you go. Pretty dark in there. It's a simple telescope for simple people. Televue has this Azimuth Mount set up, and they stand by it. And with the Azimuth setup in this type of telescope, there's no need for collimation. And as I said before, no, I haven't. I can have the mount out in 30 seconds. And I can, you saw how quick it took me to mount and balance the Televue. So now I'm ready to roll. The mount itself, can you see it? It has numbers down there. It's like a yardstick. And I can set it to, let's say, 35 inches or whatever, and on each leg, and then make a final adjustment with one leg to balance the scope easily. This is a beautiful telescope. I highly recommend it. Okay, if you're looking to do photography, which isn't my gig, then you're all set. Last night, I was to observe the moon, but clouds moved in. Now, one thing I recommend is you buy one of these. This is an air blower. I never have to touch my objective lens. I never put my fingers near it, but before I put it away, I blow off any extraneous dust that may have accumulated throughout the night. Then I go ahead and make sure the cover is clear of dust. Simply blow it off so it looks clean, looks good. Give it another run. Put it up again with both hands to secure the cap. Now, I'll do the same with any piece of optic. I want to keep the diagonal clean. So before I go to bed at night, call it an evening, and I'll take these caps, again, blow them up, Get rid of all the dust. You see? That's what happens when you're getting old. You're not paying attention. So, simplicity is the key. Now, I will unlock this again. Let's see. Bring her down. Blow off the dust. I'm not worried about it. A lot of people complain about all kinds of dust on my lens. Well, not that bad. Okay. Run it through. Don't be a Scrooge. Run it through. Okay, now I'm going to bring this up to right about yo. Okay, excuse me. Let's start the scope. I'm going to run a rag across this when I get in, just to keep it nice and pretty. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Doing it backwards. The cap. When you remove the eyepiece, have the cap in your hand. Okay? Otherwise, you might forget. And you might get some pollen in your, or some dust in your diagonal. My diagonal is whisper clean. And if I have a problem with the diagonal, I'll remove it and use, what do they call these things? It's called a giotto. Now I have it wrapped in yellow so I can see it easily. Put that baby down there. Cap the eyepiece. Take it over. Now, when I remove the telescope, I want to make sure that everything's tightened down so it doesn't swing on me. I have a red bag. This sits in my Televue case. Okay, so I'm going to remove these. Now gravity's helping me out here, guys. This thing is not going to fall. You do it the way you want to. Okay? Got my bag here. I put it in my pocket. I know that when I put it, when I store it, the diagonal is going to be comme ça. Like that, as we say. Okay, so I should have just turned the diagonal first and then took it off. Okay, so she's off. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, that was no brain damage there. Just got the mount, which a stronger person could just carry the mount and the chair. And there's a strap on the case of the shoulder strap on the case of the Televue 76. So I guess you could manhandle it, but you know what's wrong with 2 trips? Get back into the house. I have an arrangement that I've been thinking about regarding dew, and I'm going to experiment with it. First of all, I don't like electric cords when I don't have to have them. So I have an idea. I have a couple thick rubber bands, and I have some hand warmers. And I'm thinking of experimenting where I can place a hand warmer to about the front of the barrel. That may keep the objective warm. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to test it out this summer and let you guys know. Because if I could just bring a couple rubber bands and a pack of hand warmers out and not have to deal with any extra cords, that makes observing a heck of a lot more pleasant. That's all I have for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Have and make it a great day.